When Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, it had clear simple goals and plan which were a quick grab of a part of Ukraine, cut gas supply to Europe and adopting a waiting approach hoping for changes in Western or Ukrainian political thinking by igniting protests in pro-Ukraine countries because of inflation and recession. Putin's initial plan to quickly seize a part of Ukraine without a full-scale war has failed, resulting in significant losses for Russia. Russia's attempt to pressure Europe by cutting gas supply has also failed as they have found alternative suppliers and gas prices returned to pre-war levels. This tactic did not achieve the desired outcome of halting support for Ukraine. But the biggest problem for Putin regime till now is the Wagner Group's rebellion has further complicated Russia's strategy and weakened morale among its military leadership. The Wagner Group's rebellion has sown confusion within Russia's military, potentially weakening its performance on the battlefield. Ukraine sees an opportunity for a successful counteroffensive by capitalizing on the confusion and weakened morale among Russian forces. The rebellion led by Yevgeny Prigozhin, commonly known as Putin's chef, is seen as a significant challenge to Vladimir Putin's long reign and weakened his public image. The rebellion demonstrated weaknesses in the Russian security forces and eroded Putin's monopoly on force. While Wagner's combat capabilities were not substantially impacted, systemic problems within the Russian military and declining morale are likely to persist. After the failed uprising by the Wagner Group, the city quickly returned to a sense of normalcy. However, the uprising had economic repercussions, as the value of the Russian ruble sharply declined, reaching its lowest exchange rate since March 2022. Potential scenarios for Russia's future in the aftermath of the Wagner Group's rebellion are: a weakened Putin, recent drone attacks on the Kremlin, NATO's strong support to Ukraine, both in military aid and financial assistance, and the crashing Russian ruble reflects the economic toll the war is taking on Russia. European countries are exploring alternative energy supplies to reduce their dependence on Russia, which will drastically reduce Russian exports. Amidst these challenges, there are signs that Vladimir Putin's grip on power may weaken as his leadership faces internal and external pressures. Putin may maintain power for now but faces increased pressure from the West and becomes more dependent on China. Continued support of West for Ukraine shows that Putin's time as a leader is coming to an end. A new regime, internal competitors challenge Putin's political position, leading to a weakened war effort in Ukraine. A new regime takes over like in the summer of 1991. Kremlin hardliners attempted a coup against Soviet President and General Secretary of the Communist Party Mikhail Gorbachev. The coup failed, but Gorbachev was weakened and out of power by the end of the year.
Образованием Содружества независимых государств я прекращаю свою деятельность на посту президента СССР.
More violence. Looking for a major victory, Russia can unleash hell on Ukraine, causing more deaths and destruction, or Russia itself fractures into competing power blocs, leading to a civil war. The war in Ukraine becomes chaotic, raising concerns about nuclear proliferation. Rise of reformers. Pressure from popular support and internal forces leads Putin to step down, and a reform-minded regime takes power in Russia, focusing on anti-corruption and political reforms. Wagner is an important power source of Russian regime, but the future of the Wagner Group remains uncertain, and its potential disbanding could challenge Russia's ability to project influence abroad. Countries where Wagner operates like Belarus, Ukraine, Syria, Sudan, Mozambique, Central African Republic, Mali, Libya, Sudan and Madagascar, may reconsider the use of private military companies due to the risks highlighted by the mutiny. The situation presents an opportunity for Ukraine to leverage information warfare capabilities and potentially break the military stalemate with Russia. Until Putin resolves the fallout from the mutiny, Russia may remain vulnerable to further challenges. Another aspect of war which both Russia and Ukraine were already facing significant population decline before the war, with low fertility rates and considerable emigration, especially in the case of Ukraine. The war has exacerbated Ukraine's demographic crisis, leading to a significant shrinking of its population. One study predicts that by 2040, Ukraine will have around 20% fewer inhabitants than before the war, with a severe decline in the working-age population. In Russia, hundreds of thousands of people have left the country since February 2022, with estimates ranging from 370,000 to over 700,000. Combined with mobilization, this has led to the removal of roughly 500,000 to 1 million working-age males from Russia's population. The demographic impact of this emigration will be long-lasting, even beyond the duration of the conflict and the tenure of President Putin. The Wagner Group's mutiny has disrupted Russia's military strategy and raised doubts about Putin's leadership. The implications for the war in Ukraine and Russia's foreign influence are uncertain. Ukraine must carefully assess the situation and act strategically to capitalize on Russia's vulnerabilities. The international community must closely monitor the developments and be prepared for various potential scenarios in the ongoing conflict.